Aren't they providing their own funding now to attorneys where your office has not appointed them in a timely fashion?
You say we have not appointed them in a timely fashion?
Yeah.
So let me correct you, because obviously Fulton County had their own program where they were using their ARPA funds, and they said they would be able to help with their cases. And we sent them a lot of cases, and when they could not find attorneys for those cases, we took them back. We provide attorneys in a timely fashion. If you're referring to the Superior Court program, we gave them those cases because they had ARPA money that they wanted to use to fund their own backlog. Eventually, they could not find attorneys for those cases, and then we took them back. So we provide attorneys in a timely fashion. Maybe you're referring to another agency.
Okay, so there weren't people sitting in jail for months and months and months, or years even, without attorneys to represent them? Is that what you're saying?
I have no idea what you're talking about. We provide attorneys as soon as we know them. Some of these individuals that you're talking about, some of them did not ask for public defenders, but once they ask for us, we will provide attorneys for them. And I think that's totally out of the scope of your questioning.
So where, as in this case, you could find an attorney for someone, Mr. Williams, did you ask the county to assist in paying her?
Objection asked and answered.
That's my question.
I just told you, yes, we did.
You made that specific request for Mr. Williams?
No, we made a request to support, at that time, to support the 4 or 5 attorneys that were still on this case. And at that time, we made that request. Today, we've been able to find the funding to pay her what we're paying her.
Okay.
And Mr. Bassi, if this will help you, the agency will abide by this contract, and that's all we're able to do.
Okay. So when she comes to you and says, I have a conflict, how are we going to address this? How are you going to address this?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll overrule it because this is the hardest part of the question, so the conflict. So I'm going to overrule it.
If the conflict means that she wants to breach her contract after what we're paying, then that's what I think the court has to address. I cannot address personal conflicts. Cannot.
So you cannot cure that conflict and ask the county again or look somewhere else for more money. You can't do that.
The contract that we have with Ms. Williams is what we will abide with.
So that's a no.
If that's what you say.
Okay. I know you've not spoken with him, but do you think it's in your best interest, or his best interest, for Mr. Williams to withdraw?
If she wants to withdraw.
Okay.
Yes.
How about if she doesn't want to withdraw, she wants the conflict resolved?
Not the way I don't even know what her conflict is. I have no idea what the conflict is.
No idea when she sends this letter, I can't continue representing him because I can't pay my bills and this amount of money. You've got no idea what that conflict could possibly
And the
be.
money we're providing for her is all we can provide.
Okay.
If Ms. Williams cannot live within the budget that the contract that we have provided, then the court has to decide whether she should be removed from the case, not whether we should go find her another $200,000 for this case.
Okay.
We're just not going to do that.
So I'm sorry if I already asked this. You believe Mr. Williams is currently being fairly compensated, is that right?
Objection asked and answered.
I stand.
I think I've answered you
Okay.
the question.
All right. So kind of in totality, we've not really come up with a plan to cure Mr. Williams' conflict. What I'm hearing you say, correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of, this is what she agreed to, this is what we're sticking with. Kind of, she made her bed, she can lie in it. Is that about right?
This is the contract that she signed. This was the funding that the state put towards that contract. This is the decision for the court to decide whether she's going to be let out of the case. And at the end of the day, our responsibility is to make sure that Mr. Ryan's interest is being protected.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question, Ms. Ali.
Yes, sir.
How is Mr. Ryan's interest protected if she withdraws?
We will find another attorney for him, sir.
Do you think that that wouldn't create a Sixth Amendment ineffective assistance of counsel issue?
I don't believe so, sir. We have looked at the files and everything that's been done in this case. We believe we can find him another attorney.
So do you know whether or not Mr. Ryan has actually acquiesced in allowing Ms. Williams to withdraw?
Well, Your Honor, the
Because
issue...
it's required as part of the rules. Have you all inquired into that?
The issue here is how much the state and this agency can pay Ms. Williams. And Ms. Williams, like according to her last demand, was $211,000. If we cannot afford it, then it becomes a different issue.
Okay, well, your contract aside, okay, and I'm certainly not trying to interfere with that. But if Ms. Williams withdraws and you say you're in a position to appoint another lawyer, you're going to pay that lawyer, right?
The same amount of money, sir.
$55,000?
Yes, sir.
So how come you couldn't just renegotiate with her and go ahead and extend that particular issue? Just extend this contract?
We will continue to pay her the same $55,000. We're committed to that. We'll pay $55,000 a year. By the end of this year, it will be $110,000 that we would have paid her. We're committed to that.
Okay, so let me see if I understand it correctly. So you pay her $5,000 a month, so she'll get paid $5,000 a month through the end of this year?
Once it's capped at 55, gets to the anniversary of her engagement with us, we start it all over again.
Okay, when's she going to run out of? When she basically is the $55,000 going to be exhausted?
I am not sure. I believe we paid her right there about $60,000.
We don't have a cap on the contract. It's a yearly cap of $55,000, but if it goes on for 5 years, we would continue paying $55,000 a year.
Is there any delay in payment in terms of, like, for example, if I exhaust the $55,000, would I go for several months without pay until my new contract kicks in or the anniversary date kicks in? How does that work?
I believe it would be 1 month without the $5,000 because it's $55,000 for the year. So I think it's 11 months of $5,000 payments. The payments have pretty much been every month except for at the beginning because of the way that we spread out. We paid the $15,000 that she got and was deducted from the way that the contract works. So I believe that there's 1 month that she wouldn't be paid and then it starts over again.
Okay. I'm sorry I hijacked you.
That's okay. You're familiar with the contract. As you said, it renews yearly, annually.
She just explained the contract.
Okay.
That's the contract she just explained to you.
If I show you a copy of that contract, can you show to me where it says it's going to renew?
I believe she has it, and it's explained with examples of how we pay. It's going to renew.
Okay, but this contract we're relying on says $5,000, this is starting last year, April, and every other month thereafter until the cap of $55,000 is reached or the trial ends, right?
Yeah, and if the trial doesn't end,
Yeah.
then we'll start it all over again.
There's nothing in here though about it starting over.
Okay, yes. So it renews, and we know it's in there. And if that helps Ms. Williams to stay on the case, fine. If that doesn't, agency is not willing to not abide by the
Can I
contract.
see the contract?
Yes, Your Honor, absolutely.
Is the or disjunctive in the sense of, since if the trial's not over, she's still going to get paid, Ms. Ali?
As long as this trial is going, we will continue to pay her.
And Your Honor, in addition to this contract, we did have a policy that was passed by the council that indicates that it's a $55,000 a year cap in cases that last that long. And so I believe that that policy would be read in conjunction with this contract.